Where is that file? I know I saved it somewhere. Maybe it's under videos. Have you ever found yourself in that situation where you're looking for a specific file that you saved to your computer, whether it be to use it for something or to show to somebody? It's very frustrating when you can't quickly find where it is. Well, today we're going to be talking about just that, how to organize your files and be able to find them quickly. And we're going to talk about 3 aspects to organizing files. First, where to find files that are located on your computer. Second, how to organize your files. And third, how to keep your files organized today and in the future. Files are stored on your hard drive, and in Windows, storage devices like hard drives are assigned to letters, and C: is the default letter for your Windows installation on your hard drive. And if you remember from last video, which if you haven't checked it out, I really recommend you do, File Explorer is a built-in graphical way to view our files. So if we go on our taskbar and find the folder icon, File Explorer is there and we can click on it. And here we can go under Local Disk C on the side. This is your main hard drive. And here we see a list of folders, and folders are just a way of grouping together related files. And this is how Windows organizes your related files on your computer. These folders have an address much like a web address. Say you go to google.com, it brings up google.com. Well, in File Explorer, you have an address bar up here that shows where you're at on your hard drive. Here we have C:\\. So that is what is called the root folder or the beginning folder on your hard drive. And here is some program files that you most likely won't use much unless you're a more advanced user. But there is one folder we're concerned with today, and that's the users folder here. So this address up here is called the path to your file or your folder, and it's like the address to that specific folder. Now, for the sake of this tutorial, I want to make the address show up on the top bar, so I'm going to go under File, change Folder Insert Options, go under the View tab, and check Display the full path in the title bar. And if I hit Apply and OK, you now see that up here at the top, we have C:\\, and that'll keep the path up to date. So let's go into our users folder, and to do that, we're going to double click. And now notice that we now are in our users folder and we see a list of users on the computer. And up at the top, our path now shows C:\users. So that's now saying, okay, you're in the main hard drive, you're in the main folder, and now you're in users folder. And we want to go under Decode Tech because that's the user we're under. So I'm going to double click again. And now you'll see the same thing that we now added to our path, Decode Tech. And you can go back folders by either clicking the back arrow like your web browser has, and go forward by hitting the forward arrow. Alternatively, you can click up here in the address bar and you can click on the previous folder you want to go to. If you want to go all the way back to local disk C, you can click there and it'll bring you back. But we don't want to do that, so we'll go back into users and Decode Tech. And now you'll see a bunch of user folders. This is where most of your user data is going to be stored. And so here we have a documents folder and a downloads folder, music, videos, and various other user folders that you'll very commonly use. So if we go under the documents folder, we'll see some files down here and 2 folders up at the top. So in a folder, you can hold folders and files. So if I want to go under tutorial files, I now have a test file, and if I double click on it, it'll launch that test file. Now with this path, we can click in the bar and we can copy this path. So if I right click and hit copy, I can now exit out of the File Explorer. And if I go back into File Explorer, I can click on the address bar, right click again and hit paste. And now if I hit enter, just like I was searching the web, it'll take me directly to that folder, and there's the file I was using previously. So that was a look at how to find files on your computer, and now let's look at how to organize files. To organize your files, you use folders. We already looked at some built-in folders. Now let's make some of our own to help us organize our documents. So I'm going to go back to Documents. You'll notice I have a note file here, and maybe this note has to do with the tutorials I make. So I want to move my note file into my tutorials folder so that I know right where it is next time. I will click and drag, and now I'll just hover above tutorial files, and you see below it says move to tutorial files. If I let go, it'll transfer it, and if I double click into tutorial files now, you'll see it now has note and test files. But now I have report and speech kind of out by themselves. Well, they probably both have to do with maybe a school project that I'm working on. So maybe I want to create a new folder. Well, how do I do that? I can, down here in this blank space, I can right click and go under New and click on Folder. Now we can name the folder whatever we want, and I'm going to name it School Homework. Now I want to move report and speech into School Homework, so I just click and drag, and click and drag, and they're both in there. Now when I open up the Documents folder, I see a couple folders. I have a Tutorials folder and a School Homework folder, and I know that all my files related to that will be in those folders. And if I wanted to move a folder back to Documents, if I wanted to move a file back to Documents, I can simply click and drag it back up to the address bar and hover over Documents, and you see Move to Documents. I could let go and it would go right back, but I don't want to do that right now. One place I commonly see people trying to find files and struggling to be able to do it is in family trips. You have lots of pictures and videos, and you might have several family trips meshed together in the same folder, and I suggest organizing them into detailed folders. And it doesn't matter specifically how you do it, but that you have some kind of system that you know. And so let's go back to our user folders. So I'm going to go into local disk C, users, decode tech, and let's go under videos. Say we're looking at videos from a trip. So let's create several different folders. Let's say we have a folder for family trips. Or how about for our first folder, let's just do trips. Hit enter. Now let's go inside of that folder by double clicking. And now let's make several new folders in this. So now we have trips. Let's say we have family trips. And maybe make another folder for business trips. And maybe you want to do some personal trips as well. So now these are all under trips. So if I go back, we go back again, we go under videos, and now we have trip videos, and we have business, family, and personal. And so then in family, you could do some more folders. You could do, say, your 2005 family trip, and create a new folder again, and say you had another family trip in 2010. So now you have a pretty detailed, organized way of organizing this trip data so you can easily find it later. So this brings us into our third part of our organizing files, and that is how to keep your files organized as you create new files. So how do we do this? Well, let's say we're going to create a text file. And remember, Notepad is a built-in text editor. And so let's say this is some information about our 2005 trip. Now when we go to save it, we go to File, Save As, and now where is this going to save? Well, it will save to wherever the file path is. So right now we're under this PC and we're under Documents. So it's like as if we went to local disk C, Users, Decode Tech, and Documents. And that's where it would save if I named it and hit save right now. But I want to save this text file in with my family trip data. And so, well, by default, Windows thinks, well, he's making a text file, he probably wants to save it under documents. But in this case, that's not the case. And so I want to go into my videos file, or my videos folder rather. So I'm going to go under users, I'm going to go under decode tech, and I'm going to go under videos. And here I have my trips folder, and my family folder, and my 2005 folder. Now when I hit save, it'll go straight to the 2005 folder. So I'm going to name my text file family trip, and I'm going to hit save. Now, if I wanted to show somebody this file from my trip, I would go under my File Explorer, go under Videos, Trips, and Family, and 2005, and my text file is right there, right where I wanted it, and it's easily accessible. And you can do this with all different kinds of files, and then you'll easily be able to find them later when you're trying to show them to someone, or else you're trying to work with them again, and you don't have to waste your time looking around your hard drive or your file system for this file. So that's going to be all for today's video on how to organize files. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, as we'll have more Windows tutorials like this coming in the future.